can't remember the name of the female narrator, and I don't have my phone with me. I left it upstairs. Hi everybody. Welcome or welcome back. Oh my god. Welcome or welcome back to another video. My name is Charlotte and I like to read a little bit and bring you guys along with me. Today, as you can see from the title and the thumbnail and everything in between, we're going to do the end of year book tag. I don't know who originally started this book tag, but I am copying Larry Reed's. Basically, I saw her do it, I really wanted to do it, so here I am. We're going to talk about the books we read in 2025 and some of our goals for 2026. I do have a rule, the same rule that I feel like most people have, and that is no repeats. I do have one repeat, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine, and I think you guys are going to forgive me when we get to it, because I think you'll understand. But yeah, let's grab a drink and let's get started. First question, best recommendation you got this year? And I have been thinking very long and hard on this one, because I feel like nothing can top the recommendation I got last year, because the best recommendation I got last year was Mile High. That got me back into reading. But I think maybe the best recommendation I got this year was Bear Town, because I had never read anything by Fredrik Backman and I loved it. I got so sucked into the story. I was just captivated. If you don't know what Bear Town is about, it is about a small town in Sweden where everything is hockey. If you can play hockey, you're automatically a star. You automatically are someone to look out for, and everybody kind of wants to be part of this team in one way or another. If it's a player, if it's the coach, if you work for the team, or if it's only as a supporter, you want to be part of the team in one way, shape or form. And they do have like the city next to them that also is big on hockey, and they're rivals. You get a shit ton of POVs. Sometimes you get a little bit confused, but you get so sucked into the story. The story is just so freaking fantastic. There's something happens, it splits the town into two. It's traumatizing. It's fantastic. I loved the book. I loved it. It was a fantastic read. I could not talk highly enough about it. If there's one recommendation I can give you, if you haven't already read it, please read Bear Town. There is 3 books in the series, but you can read one. You can read the first one without reading the next 2, but if you want to read all of them, you have to read them in order. Most disappointing book of the year. Well, here's the thing. Mine is 2, but it's the same book. It's just split into 2. So it's like 2 novellas. I feel like I read part 1 and then I was like, they were like, oh, get the ending in part 2. And then I read part 2 and there was just a complete waste of my time. And that is The 2-Week Arrangement and 7 Nights of Sin. She works for him. He is a powerhouse. He has twins, I think it is. And she is supposed to be his like assistant or whatever. Like she gets a internship, something like that. And it's supposed to be like a 2-week arrangement because she fakes being his girlfriend to get some deal. She meets his kids, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. She gets approached to write a piece on him or something like that, or cooperate, something that can kind of tear him down and get the clients to move to a competitor. She takes the papers, don't get rid of them, even though she's not thinking on doing this because it's a happily ever after, and it's just a shit ton of a mess. And then you have the 7 Nights of Sin, where she goes to London with him to fake being his girlfriend or fiance or whatever the fuck it is she's faking. And this is where it gives me the ick, because if I remember correctly, she's a virgin and they do shit and then he flips out on her. Which, if you're a virgin or not, they shouldn't flip out on you after they should use their ears and listen, because there's a reason why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. It's because you're supposed to listen. An underdog book you read. This one was very easy. This one was super easy for me because there's Pumpkin About You. It's that easy. It's dual POV. It's standalone. It is full. He works at a pumpkin farm. She wants to rent the pumpkin farm to have her best friend's 30th birthday party, I think it is, if I remember correctly. And he just goes, no, go away. I'm not interested in you. And there was a goat named Emilio, and I love that goat. I loved it. This one, it gives not necessarily enemies to lovers, but a little bit of miscommunication for reasons that is understanding and valid when you learn about the characters. She feels that she isn't good enough in her field. He is afraid to fail. He is also autistic. And when I read about the way the difference in the way his parents treated him, I cried. Because you have one parent that is loving and is trying to teach him normal things, quote unquote, that he finds hard, but in a way where he can understand it. And then you have the other one that is just like, can't you just be normal? And I cried. This Pumpkin About You, I feel like it came in the shadow of the Gilmore Girls book, because I got both and I ended up returning the Gilmore Girls. I can't remember, I'll put it on the screen. I ended up returning it because the cover was fucked up. So I read This Pumpkin About You. I'm very glad I read it. I did want to read the other one as well, but I felt like it kind of got a little bit in the shadow of that one because that one was like the big one this year. So 100% definitely put it on your TBR for next year. There's Pumpkin About You. It's a standalone. It's fantastic. It's so cute and it just gives the full vibes and I love it. An overhyped book you read. This one was the easiest out of all of them. And I am so sorry because a lot of you are gonna get mad at me right now. But it's Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I didn't like it. I don't understand why everyone is obsessed with Christian. I found it to be comical and I didn't like him. I didn't like him. I can't even explain it. Like when you read the book, he comes off as just, I don't know, I can't really see how he is the man to beat. I can't see it. I don't even want to tell you what the book is about because I am afraid that if I tell you what the book is about, that I'm going to spoil the book for you. And I don't want to do that. Just know that I hated it with every fiber of my body. A book that surprised you. Well, that's Hopeless by Elsie Silver, the last book in the Chestnut Spring series. I had only heard people talk about how disappointed they were in Beau's story. That they felt like it wasn't deep enough and they felt like it wasn't as traumatizing as they thought it was going to be after they read the fourth book, the book before. So I went in with very, very little hope. I heard people shit on it so much that I almost didn't read it. I'm very happy that I did though, because Hope and Bailey, I think they are my favorite couple out of all of them. I found myself rooting for Beau. I found him to, through Bailey, kind of see how his family was treated differently and how her family was treated differently. I love that he was protective over her and that he just wanted her to be happy. And most of all, I love that the arrangement they made where he was like, oh, well, we can just, be fake engaged and you can tell people that you're going to take my name because people will respect you then. That didn't solve anything. And he thought it was going to, but when he realized that it wasn't, he worked for it and he tried to figure out how he could fix it. And the way his entire family just took Bailey in and was like, well, she's ours now, so you can fuck off. I loved it. And I thought I think it's my favorite one out of the Chestnut Springs series. Favorite couple or couples of the year? I have two. The first one is Riley and Lexi from Hattrick. This is the fourth book in the DC Star series by Chelsea Curto. This is it rehabilitation? It's called, like trainer, athlete kind of vibes. She helps him rehabilitate after a life-changing accident. And you get to see him through his darkest days, basically. They are showing us that not everything is sunshine and roses. There's usually not that in a book, but when you go through a life-changing experience, not everything is gung-ho and not everybody is that sunshine story that just keeps on pushing and wants to get back to themselves. A lot of them have darker days, and that is also completely fine. Lexi doesn't give up on him, and they rekindle their love, and it's fantastic. And he is the sweetest man ever. But when she opens his drawers, like to find, I don't know, clothing or whatever, she finds something spicy, and it's very good. And then we have Molly and Andrew. Molly and Andrew is from Holiday Romance by Catherine Welsh. This is my favourite holiday book that I have read this year. We're going to talk more about it later though, but I had to put them in here because I just love dynamic. I love the way their story was told, and it made me really feel like I was following a couple that knew each other, but because it goes back in time, so you get to see them previous years, and then you go back to this Christmas and it goes back and it goes forth. It felt like you also really got to see the couple, and it felt like you really got to know them. You kind of were in on it in a weird way. I love them. They're one of my favorite couples this year, and I'm so happy that I read. I'm so happy that I read that book. Your favorite character of the year? I have two characters. One of them I mean, she's up there. I do enjoy her, and that is Skylar in Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I think this was my favorite Rose Hill book. I think that's kind of why I put her there. But I do actually think that Gwen from Wildcard is just above Skylar, because even though Skylar went through a lot and Skylar had her own things going on, I felt like Gwen just empowers the baddie energy that I love in FMC, and she really did communicate. Like when Bash was being a dick, she's like, hey ho, you know, we need to talk about this. You need to use your words and not your brooding man voice. Like, you actually need to say what you feel, so shut up. And then of course we have Teddy from Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. It's the somewhere in, but no, it's the third book in the Blue Rebel Ranch series. That's very hard to say. And it is Single Dad Nanny, which is my favorite, and it's also little sister's best friend, or best friend's big brother, depending on how you want to look at it. They're like, she's also just such a baddie, and I love her to bits. She knows how to stand up for herself. She knows how to tell you what's going on, when and why, and I love her for that. I'm just gonna side note, Wildcard, I'm gonna love editing this with all the pictures and stuff. Wildcard is ex-boyfriend's dad, so it's age gap. And now that I think about it, I also think Willa from, oh my god, what's it called? The second Chestnut Springs book. I think she's in my top 3 as well. So you have, I think it's gonna be Teddy, Willa, and then Gwen. Because Willa, I mean, she pushed a kid into the pool because he was mean to the kid she nannies, which is also Single Dad Nanny. New favorite author you discovered this year? Well, that's fairly simple. It's Miss Chelsea Curto. I love her books. I love her books. This is also the first year where I've read Elsie Silver, and I do also enjoy her books, but I do enjoy Chelsea Curto more just because I am a sports romance girly. I love a good sports romance, and you can't take it away from me. You just can't take it away from me. So she's my favorite. I love the DC Star series. I didn't really enjoy In the Dark, which is her first dark romance book, but I also think I just wasn't in the right mindset when I started reading it. So I am going to try it again in 2026, because mindset has a lot to say when you read a book. An author that didn't work out for you this year. I am very sad to say that it is a toss-up, because I do want to say Anna Huang, because I read 5 of her books, and I have to say I didn't really enjoy that many of them. I enjoyed Twisted Hate, and I didn't like the other ones. But it is also Frida McFadden, because I've read several Frida McFadden books, and I feel like the characters are a little bit shallow. I feel like there's not that much depth to the books, which is something that I enjoy in the book. So it is like a toss-up between Anna Huang and Frida McFadden. Now I am going to try reading different Frida McFadden books. I might try The Housemaid because everybody's raving about it, but that might also be a downfall, because that's why I tried Twisted Love, the Twisted series, because everybody was raving about it, and it just ended up not being my favorite series, which is completely fine. But yeah, no, it has to be a toss-up between Anna Huang and Frida McFadden. Maybe Anna Huang takes like the shortest straw, or the longest, whoever loses, because I am going to try Frida McFadden again. What is the happiest book you've read this year? Well, thank you for asking, first of all. I've been thinking about this a little bit too much, but I think it's going to be Till Summer Do Us Part. That just gave good vibes. I really, really enjoy that one. It is by Megan Quinn. It is a standalone. It is about the FMC works at a firm where everybody just seems unexceptionally happy, and she feels like she's getting a little bit overlooked because she doesn't have a partner. So she lies about having a partner and them having marital problems, and that's why she hasn't brought him along to functions or mentioned him at work. She now gets invited to a couples retreat with a couples counselor, which happens to be her boss's husband. I think it's a conflict of interest, but what do I know? I'm not American. She then has to find a fake husband, and it turns out to be her her male best friend's brother, because her male best friend doesn't want to do it. And they don't know each other. They have never met. So you know that it's kind of like the question, like, can I bring someone into couples therapy that I don't know, and the therapist, like, how long does it take for the therapist to see through it that we don't know each other, that we're just playing off each other? This is that set into a book form. Was it the best book I've read all year? No, definitely not. It wasn't. The audiobook is fantastic, which is all of Megan Quinn's audiobooks are fantastic. The narrator they do such an amazing job. Like Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal, audio fantastic. It's not the best book I've read all year. I think I had a little bit of too high expectations for it, but it was fun. I did enjoy it, and I think it is the happiest book I've read all year, just because the concept of it is so funny. And when they do these sessions with the therapist and they just play off each other, it's super funny. So I think that's gonna be the one. What was the saddest book you read all year? I am sad to say this is also an easy one, and it has to be Sunrise on the Reaping. I don't need to say much more, do I? This is the 5th book in the Hunger Games installment. It's Haymitch's story, and if you read the original trilogy or you've seen the original movies, you already know like how the book is gonna end. And I thought going into it, knowing how the book was gonna end, knowing what he had to go through, I was not prepared for the heartbreak. I was not prepared for all the feelings that it was gonna put inside my body, because I cried like a little bitch. I'm not afraid to say it. I cried so hard at this book. It had so many feelings inside of me. My friend also read the book, and something happens at the end. She didn't really understand, she didn't understand why it kept on happening. But I had also read Snow's book. So when I explained it to her, she was like, oh, okay, shit, yeah, okay, that makes the book even more sad. And a runner-up, have to mention it again, even though we're not supposed to do any repeats. It is Beartown. Beartown also just put me in my feels. It's such an emotional read, and Fredrik Backman just puts it into words in such a fantastic way. The most frustrating book you read this year? Well, that is Fall I Want. I read this because everybody and their mother kept on talking about it. It was the perfect fall read. Oh my god, the perfect fall vibes. I think people said this because the cover gave perfect fall vibes. The book was trash. I liked some of the first part of the book, but I kept on feeling like he was kind of mean without needing to be mean. And I was like, is this kind of like the rich man itch, where he feels entitled to be a little bit mean because he has money? Or is he just being a dick? And I still don't have the answer. But when he was he was mean to service workers. He was mean to people that worked at hotels, people that worked in restaurants. He threatened to fire someone because they didn't look at his girlfriend, and it was weird. He was also supposed to be like this big hotshot business dude that was in all the tabloids. She didn't know who he was, which he found refreshing. But when somebody else that worked, I don't remember if it was a restaurant or they were a receptionist or whatever it was, when they didn't know who he was, he kind of went, "Do you not know who I am?" and just slung out his family name. And then the monologue was like, "Oh, I don't usually do this." And I'm like, yeah, but you're still a dick for doing it. It doesn't help me that you usually don't do it, because you're just being a complete asshole. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I feel like the only reason people were like, this is the perfect fall book, was because the cover was, and not because the man inside made them all tingly and, warm, like a hot cup of cocoa, which I would throw in his face. Your favorite cover of the year? This has to be Nightshade. I love this cover. I think it's so pretty and simple, but I just love it. And now that we also know how Daybreak is going to look, they're going to look so good. And I do wish that we get like similar ones, but with sprayed edges, maybe in a hardcover. I would eat that shit up. I would eat that shit up. And here is where the repeat comes in, because the next one is a book you haven't stopped thinking about, and that is also Nightshade. Maybe that's why I enjoy the cover as much as I do, but that has hands down been my favorite book of 2025. It is about Ophelia. Ophelia is an orphan. Her parents died in a tragic helicopter accident at Sorosong University, where if I remember correctly, both her parents worked. She applies to Sorosong University as a student, but she thinks that the accident wasn't an accident. She thinks that somebody had them murdered, and she is trying to figure out why. In comes Alex. Alex is the son of the man she thinks is behind everything, and she is convinced that he is just as evil as his dad. But you get both point of views, and you know that he is not. The way they flirt, it's so nerdy and cute. They flirt in crossword. They're like 3 words, and I can't even think about it. You know, I can't even make one for you. But they're like 3 words. So and so, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, what are you calling me, arrogant? And it's not even 3 words, it's 3 letters. But anywho, you know what I'm trying to mean. Like, they flirt in such a cute way. I loved it. When I was going to the end of the book, I was like, I don't really see how this is going to keep on going because it's a duet. And then something happened at the end of the book, and I was mad that I already read it because now I have to wait so long for the next one. That was my favorite book. I can't stop thinking about it. I think I rated it like a 4.5. when I first read it, but I've said I'm going to bump it up to a 5 because I keep on thinking about it. But I think it's okay to keep the score and still be kind of obsessed with it, because I don't know, that's just how I felt. And I don't know, we'll figure it out at some point. Unpopular book you loved. Now hear me out. This is a very popular series. This isn't an unpopular book per se. Like, it's not an unpopular book in the way that I feel like a lot of people hate on it, but it's the most unpopular book in this series. And it is Caught Up by Liz Tomfordy in the Windy City series. This is the book, even though I know a lot of people shit on Mile High and skip it completely, I still feel like this is the book that people read, but they don't like, because they skip Mile High, right? You probably heard me say it before, but it's Single Dad Nanny. I love a good single dad. I'll take 5 of them. And I love the story. This story made me cry. I loved it. Same with Twisted Hate. I mean, I didn't love it as much, but it was my favorite in the series, but it's the one that people shit the most on. It's the one that they're like, oh yeah, it's my least favorite out of all of them. Mile High, people skip completely, so I don't feel like it's fair to put that in that position. But Caught Up, people read, and it's their least favorite. I know some people were like disappointed in it, and then Play Along came and they were more happy, but still, it's my favorite. It is my favorite. And like I said, I cried. It has the third act breakup that you see coming from a mile away because it's set up at the very start of the book. I still cried. I was still very upset. 2. Popular book you didn't love. It's not gonna be at all, under any circumstances, a surprise for you guys. It's Twisted Love. Didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I thought, because people were like, oh my god, Alex Volkov, the man, the myth, the legend. And I'm like, where? This is called trauma bonding, you guys, and it's not something to long for. You don't want to be traumatized. You don't want to go through that. You don't want to have a dad that is mean. Even though I feel like the book did some things correctly, I just didn't fully enjoy it. It felt weird. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. Book you thought you'd love but didn't. This is sad. This is actually one that I DNF'd, and it's Unsteady. I couldn't do it. This is figure skating. No, it's skating. It's on ice. Is he hockey? He's probably hockey. She's probably a figure skater, if I have my stereotypes correct. This one is also one where he has gone through something and is working through it, and she is also going through something, but completely different, and they find each other. I couldn't really get into the book. I felt like it was a little bit insta-lovey, because they meet in like the first or second chapter or whatever, and he's like, oh my god, I'm smiling, I haven't felt in so long, and I haven't felt any feelings in so long, and da 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 da. And he kept on telling me that he hadn't felt anything in so long, and I was like, you felt something 2 pages ago. I might pick it back up again at a later date. I don't think I was in the mental state or the headspace to read that type of book when I was reading it, because I do keep on seeing people raving about it. But I felt like he was just being super nice and she was just being a super bitch. And I didn't really feel like he deserved being treated like an idiot. Book with the most unique concept you read this year. This one I actually thought very hard about. And I didn't read books with like unique concepts where, you know, I don't know, they breed people in space to put them in the dirt to grow into humans. I didn't read anything like that. So the most unique concept I think I read is Hooked, which is a modern retelling of Peter Pan, where Captain Hook is the main love interest. Did I enjoy it? No, I didn't. Do I think it's worth reading? Yeah, if that's your jam, go for it. I know a lot of people love Emily McIntyre. I just didn't. I didn't find it to be captivating. I didn't find it to be interesting. I found it to be weird in a way, because she gives herself so easily over to him. She even tells you, she's like, oh my god, we don't know each other that well. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. But still, she just gives herself over to him and trusts him completely, not batting an eye. When you read the book, and if like you're going to overanalyze it, you can say that it's because of the way she was raised and the way she was treated and the way she saw her brother gotten treated and all of that fun shit. But it still just felt very superficial, and it's a short book as well. It just felt weird. It just felt super weird. And if I remember correctly, Captain Hook has like a pregnancy kink as well. Like he's really into getting her pregnant to spite her dad. It's just, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. Book you read this year that you would like to reread. Holiday Romance by Catherine Welsh. Molly and Andrew, I would read their book again. It's such a fun holiday read. I had such a good time reading it. I didn't tell you guys much about it when I talked about them as a couple, but I'm going to tell you what it's about right now. And it is about Molly and Andrew. Molly and Andrew both live in Chicago, and every year right before Christmas, they take the plane back to Ireland, where they're from, to visit their family for Christmas. They have been doing this for 10 years. It has become a ritual that they travel together. This year, though, there is a storm and it's cancelled, and Molly makes it her mission to get Andrew home for Christmas. On the road, you get to see how they flirt, kind of pull away again, flirt a little, say something inappropriate, go away again, get kind of in the head. You see everything through Molly's perspective. You go back in time to see like how things have progressed. They talk about the emails they sent through the year and how they met each other's boyfriend and girlfriends, and how, you know, this year they're both single, blah 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 blah. I love their story. I am 1000%. This is the book that I would want to reread next Christmas. Knowing myself, I will probably read the next one in the series, which is Snowed In, which is Andrew's brother. And I don't remember who the FMC is, because I think she's the new character. But this is a 1000% one that I would reread when Christmas comes back around again. Now we're going a little bit into next year and priority reads for next year. My priority reads for next year is going to be finishing some of this series that I started. So I'm going to try finishing the Off-Campus series. I'm going to try finishing what's out of the Magnolia Park series, but I've heard so much controversial about the author. I don't know if that's going to be put completely on the back burner, but we'll figure it out. I think the Off-Campus series is definitely going to be one. I also want to finish the Vancouver Storm series, which is hooky and hooky. Oh my god, I'm so predictable. And I also want to read a little bit more out of my comfort zone. So Hollow is also on my list, and I think Red Rising is on my list, and Project Hail Mary. Those are like my priority reads for next. Even though Hollow, which is by the Twisted Sisters, the people that gave us Zodiac Academy, I did DNF Zodiac Academy around book 7, I think it was. I just couldn't get into it anymore. Might try it again, but I just couldn't get into it. I have heard people rave about Hollow that have not finished the Zodiac Academy. So, you know. So I think that's going to be my priority get a little bit out of my comfort zone. So if you have good books that are either like sci-fi, romantasy, psychological thriller, I do not do crime. I can't do horror books. It fucks with my mind, but I do want to try more like in the romantasy space and in the sci-fi space, and maybe even more plain, if you want to call it, contemporary romances. So I want to try some more Emily Henry books. I want to try some more Fredrik Backman books. I want to kind of get into that space as well, and not just read smutty books about people that work at the boy aquarium. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Goodreads 2025 reading goal, like a little bit of a resolution, and a reading goal for 2026. So far, because I'm recording this on the 27th of December, I have read, well, I'm going to finish a book today or tomorrow. So I read 92 books this year, which isn't half bad. That is a mixture of books, ebooks, and audiobooks. So it's the entire spectrum. I am very happy. I had a reading goal of 60 books. I felt like that was achievable for me, because I think that's like an average of 5 books a month, which I felt like I could do. Some months I read more, some months I actually read less, but it didn't stress me out, because I knew that like on average I could read 3 books in 2 weeks ish, so like a book and a half a week, and that way I didn't have to stress myself on actually like reading, because I didn't want to get stressed out by my own reading goal. So I am happy with reaching it. I didn't change it. When I had 60 books, I decided that I wasn't going to put it up, I wasn't going to put it down. That was what I was going to put it at, and that was that. I don't really know how 2026 is going to be looking for me work-wise and all of the fun stuff in between. So to not put pressure on myself with the reading goal, I am going to put my 2026 reading goal for 50 books. I'm not going to put it up, I'm not going to put it down. That's just what I'm going to have it at, because the reading goal at the end of the day is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. So yeah, that's kind of where my reading goal is going. Do you want to tell me what your reading goal is? Do you set any reading goals for yourself? If you don't, do you feel like you're missing out, quote unquote? Because I know this time of year, a lot of people are like, oh, how could you read over 100 books? You don't have a life. Don't you take care of your kids? Don't you have work? Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But it is, at the end of the day, like everything else, prioritizing, right? I prioritize reading a book in the evening rather than watching TV or playing video games, and it's fine. I don't need to feel bad about it. I don't need to feel bad that I've read more books than other people or less books than other people. I enjoy it, and I also think that audiobook is reading, and I do immersive reading. I usually have the audiobook and the book in front of me if I'm not in the car, because I can't read while I'm driving, but you know. I think it counts. If you don't think it counts, if you don't want the audiobooks to count towards your reading goal, that's completely fine. I am gonna include them in my reading goal though. Books you wish you got to in 2025, but for some weird reason is not my priority for 2026. One of them is Alchemized. I do really wish that I got to it this year, and if you watch my 26 books for 2026, it is on it. So I am planning on reading it, but the thickness of that book scares me a lot, and knowing that it is emotionally damaging also scares me a lot. I have to be in a better mental state for it, and I know that my depression hits harder when it's winter because it's darker around me all the time. So I think I'll have to wait until spring is here and it's a little bit lighter, just for my own mental health. I also do really want to get to If It Makes You Happy, which is the book I tried talking about earlier that I couldn't remember the name of. If It Makes You Happy, which is the full book everybody was raving about, that is small town, hunky-dory, Gilmore Girls vibes type of book. All I know about it, I felt like I really missed out this year, and I'm hoping that it's going to come back around, kind of like the pumpkin spice, not latte. Well, yeah, that also comes back around, but the pumpkin spice cafe. So I am hoping that I'm going to be just as intrigued to read it next year. But that's one that I'm actually very sad that I missed out on, because it feels like just my type of book. And it also feels like it just gives you, I don't know, a warm hug, which sounds weird. Sorry, I said that. What will you prioritize in your 2026 reading year? I will prioritize reading what makes me happy, because when you try making content out of the things you read as well, it is very easy to kind of get sucked into what you think everybody else would want you to read and comment on. And that's not always easy. I did this with the Twisted series. I tried making a video out of it, but when I realized that I didn't have anything nice to say about it, I didn't enjoy it at all. I enjoyed the third book and that was kind of it. I felt like it was a video just shitting on the series, and I didn't want to make that because it didn't feel like healthy content, if that makes sense. I am going to keep on making YouTube videos in English. I do have a TikTok where I post in Norwegian. I might try and be better at making them in English as well, because I do have an English TikTok and I have a different Norwegian TikTok. But as of right now, I think I'm going to separate it and do just videos on YouTube and maybe Norwegian content on TikTok, because it's easier to separate them, and I don't want to make the same TikTok twice, once in English and once in Norwegian. I should talk about that later. Goals for reading in 2026. My goal is to just kind of branch out and read what I enjoy reading. Goals for your book content in 2026. So my goal is to keep being consistent on YouTube. Some breaks will happen, it's natural. I mean, I work, I have a family, I have other obligations like every other human on the planet, with or without kids. You know, obligations are obligations. So I'm not going to sit here and say I am going to post every single week no matter what, because shit happens. But I am going to try posting either Thursday or Friday, and the day might get mixed up a little bit because I'm still kind of trying to figure out the YouTube algorithm and when it's best for me to post. But I am gonna try posting at the end of the week, at least once a week, maybe a few bonuses here and there. That's going to be earlier in the week. And I'm going to try also posting a few times a week on TikTok, on my Norwegian TikTok. And that's kind of the goal I have. I don't have a goal for subscribers. I don't have a goal for followers on TikTok, because I don't want to put that kind of pressure on me, because it takes the fun away from it. But yeah, I think that's mainly my goal. Being consistent, I have blocked off days where I'm going to, film I'm going to do like every day if I do a reading vlog, but I have set off days where I am editing, and unless it's like a doctor's appointment or something important, I'm not going to do anything else, so that I kind of have some consistency in my life as well, because with ADHD, I do kind of need a routine. That's it. I do want to do an honorary mention, which is technically going to be number 26 in this one, and that is the best audiobook that I've listened to this year, and that is hands down Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal. I know Christmas is over, I know, but you might not mind. You might be like, it's still winter, I still have my Christmas decorations up, I can enjoy a Christmas audiobook. That is the one that I would recommend. It's so good. I don't remember if it's a duet or duo, I can't remember, but he does all the male voices, she does all the female voices, so it's very nicely blended. It's a super fun book, especially if you do the audiobook. It's done so fantastic. I can't remember the name of the female narrator, and I don't have my phone with me, I left it upstairs, but it is Teddy Hamilton, and is it Samantha? I'll put it on the screen, I'll put her name on the screen. I love her as a narrator, she is freaking fantastic. So that's an honorary mention. That's my favorite audiobook of the year, and I am so happy that I got to enjoy it before the Christmas chaos started, and now the Christmas chaos is over. If you are watching this in 2025, happy New Year's. I hope 2026 brings you all the joy, everything you wanted. And thank you so much for watching all the way and spending some of your precious time with me. If you're watching this in 2026, I hope this year still brings you everything you want and more, and that you smash your reading goals and all the books. Not all the books are 5 stars, because that also sounds a little bit boring, but you read at least a 4+ every month. I hope you have bangers, that's what I'm trying to say, bangers every month. And thank you once again so much for spending some of your precious time with me. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully I will get to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.